tell the truth, I knew my heart just wasn't inclined. I don't wanna be another bottle on the shelf.
Smile to the BS. I'm your host, Justin Pack, and today do I have an exciting episode for you. We are going to be talking about breaking free from a narcissist. But before we jump into that, I want to say thank you all so very much for every one of you that have came. You've liked, you've shared, you've commented on any of my videos, and just the amazing love that I've gotten and feedback from my first ever episode. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Alright guys, let's jump right into it, shall we? Let's talk about identifying a narcissist. What makes them the way that they are? And what are some characteristics that you can look for? Guys, when it comes to a narcissist, they need constant praise. 9 times out of 10, they do no wrong. They will take credit for every single thing, just like in the house, in a relationship. They're going to do the exact same. If you do something, you clean the house or whatever, they're going to tell everybody they did it. And if they do just the littlest thing in the world, maybe they get off the couch for 20 minutes a day, whatever, they need you to tell them, you know what, thank you so much for helping me. If they take out the trash or whatever they do, they always need you to tell them that they did a good job. Now, a narcissist is a person that wears a ton of hard hats in public, is shadowing behind the person that they truly want to be, so they have to act inferior. It's a sad truth, and I hate it, and I hate the people that have to go through that, because no one deserves to have to go through a relationship with a narcissist. It's the worst thing in the world. You're constantly walking on eggshells. If a fight breaks out, it's always your fault that they're upset. It's your fault that they punched a wall. It's your fault that they're leaving. They can never own up to their shit, and it sucks. But you know what? The hardest thing in the world is just to agree with them. Just tell them, you know what? You're right. That's the only way to win with them, is just give in to them. Because if you try to go against them, you're going to be fighting for hours. And I don't wish that on anybody. And it seems like every narcissist that I've ever ran into always wants to be in control. Always demanding entitlement. They always want to act like you're your boss. They always want to tell you what to do. And what I hate the most, and the people that I've talked to that got out of these relationships, the way that they were treated during that time, they were told, oh, you will never find anyone else better than me. You know that speech. Or, you're not going to be anything without me. You're nothing. No one else is going to want you. And you just get absolutely treated like garbage. And no one deserves that. Narcissistic relationships.
Yes, I was in a major one. I was married at 19 years old to a 35-year-old man who thought everything revolved around him, and he was abusive, physically, mentally, verbally, all that. We were together for 4.5 years, but married for a year and a half. And we have a child, well, now grown child, and she has got his narcissistic tendencies.
Oh no.
She's going through marriage. She's married. Well, her husband told her he wanted her out of the house with their 19-month-old child. She can't stay with just one person, and her dad was the same way. And that gave me a lot of anxiety and depression, and I got hooked on heroin.
Oh, gee.
Yes, and I thank God I've been clean now for 18 years.
I'm proud of you.
I'm actually getting ready to go back to school and become a drug and alcohol therapist.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, and I see her through it like I was.
So.
And I put up with a lot of it because that's what I thought I deserved.
Yeah.
Like, he would come home from work, and I had to have dinner on the table, his clothes laid out for him to take his shower as soon as he walked in the front door.
Oh my God.
And if I didn't, I would get beat.
What?
Oh, yeah.
He would put his hands on you?
Oh, yes. All the time. He broke my arm multiple times, busted my jaw, my nose. Oh, yeah. And I had a lot of anxiety for years over it, and I still have that. That's why when it comes to relationships, I'm scared of them because of that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they're all going to be the same narcissist as he was. And I know that's bad to say because not all men are the same, and not all women are the same.
Yes, to an extent. But here's the thing. It doesn't sound like you were ever with a man because a man will never put his hands on a woman.
Exactly.
A boy always will. And I have to
Exactly.
say...
And see, I was raised really country. My grandfather, when he found out he was the father, I didn't grow up with my father in my life until after I was 21 years old.
Oh.
My grandfather raised me. And when he found out, he literally went, and he was old school, army, and you did not do that. He came from a very small town. That's one thing you do not do. No matter what the female does, you never put your hands on.
No woman ever deserves to be ever
Right.
in the position to have a man put their hands on them. I'm sorry. I
And
do
there's
not stand for
men
that.
that say, well, if a woman stands up in a man's position, she ought to be able to be hit like a man. No, that is not how it should be.
No, if you are a true man,
Regardless.
you will walk away with
Exactly.
pride and you will bite your tongue. You're not going to stand there and try to be confrontational. To me, as a man, I know when it's time to walk away. You know what I mean? If it ever gets to the point where y'all want to put hands on each other, it's too far.
My grandfather, when he found out, me, my mom, my grandmother, and my brother had to hold him back because he went in his room, got his pistol, and was going to go up to his job and do some real damage to him. And my grandfather was into martial arts and all that because he was in Korea. He was in the Korean War. So the stuff he was taught, it was so different than what they teach them now in the military.
I'm just sorry you had to go through that, and I couldn't imagine the
It was
trauma.
horrible, and I still have PTSD from it, severe, and seeing now my daughter do some of the same stuff, it really worries me because of her having a child involved. And see, they split, they got back together during the Christmas holiday and thought they would work it out, and then it wouldn't work out because she cannot stay with just one man.
So,
and her dad was the same way.
my question to you, Priscilla, is, when you even think about dating, is it always in the back of your mind that you might get into another relationship with another narcissist?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I can see it in my head, like that, and that goes with the PTSD.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So it worries me because I don't want to go through that again. So I've just decided in the last 10 years to stay single because of it. And TikTok has helped me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because there's other people you can talk to about can talk to them, and they'll talk to you about stuff. You don't have to be shy and hide your face.
Yeah.
For the first 6 months, I would not even go live. And now I've been doing lives and trying to get a live started to help others that are going through what I went through, because I know what it was like. And I don't want to see anyone else go through that. But also with my daughter, I'm kind of wondering if her husband was a narcissist in a way, because he was a big mama's boy. He was molested by his father when he was younger.
Watch out, mama boys.
Well, I mean, not all mama boys.
I know, I get what you're saying. No, I was just trying to bring some light
like
to the
that,
situation.
But, I mean, it was all about his family. Once they got married, he moved her 2.5 hours away.
Man.
And she has no family where she's at now. So me and my mom, who helped me raise her, we're trying to get her to come back here where we can help her. And she can get a job anywhere. She's 23, or she'll be 23 in July. She's been working since the day she was 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
On her 14th birthday, she came to us and said, for my birthday, the only thing I want is my worker's permit, and went to work at 14 and has worked every day since.
Well, I
and
hope.
She does modeling and all that.
Hopefully
she's gorgeous.
Hopefully she figures out who she is.
Yeah, because I tell her really she needs to get into some kind of therapy.
Yeah.
To talk about issues, because I wasn't there for like 3 years because of my drug addiction.
Yeah.
And so my mom raised her kids. Her dad was never in her life until just the last year and a half. He's been in her life.
Man.
And so she's got a lot of trauma also.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bet. And like I said, I could never imagine what you went through and what your daughter is going through. One thing with your daughter is she's trying to figure out who she truly is. You know what I mean? It just sounds like she's still in that growing stage.
She is. She's super, super mature in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways she's very immature.
Yeah. She's still growing as a person. Just bear with her. Bear with her.
Oh, believe me, I am. And I finally started going to therapy and talking about it, because for years I held it in and didn't talk to nobody about the abuse and stuff. So I held it in, and so I let it build and build and build and build. So I started getting anger issues. So I would explode on the wrong people. And I finally said, no, I've got to get in therapy to talk about this and release it. And that's when I was diagnosed with PTSD because of it. And then a month ago, I became a Christian and got back in the church, and I'm doing a lot of stuff with my church.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of health issues right now. I'm actually dealing with issues with my heart. I have a monitor. I've got congestive heart failure and all that.
Yeah.
And I've got a blockage, and it's been a mess. So I want to be able to get my health back in line, and I know with God's help I can, because God's the main doctor who heals people, not
Amen.
these doctors on earth.
Amen. 1,000%.
And so,
1,000%.
I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a Christian.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
And there's so many people that are, and I think that's so sad. And I want to help others in more ways than one. bring people to God, and then I want to help addicts get clean and help them get clean. Because if I can come off of heroin by myself,
You're doing something.
yeah, anybody can come get clean.
Yeah, I just
Because heroin is the hardest drug to get
It is.
clean from.
It is. Like I said, I think it's an amazing story. For your sobriety, for one, absolutely. I am so proud of you, and I'm just letting you know,
Thank you.
if enough people haven't told you, I'm just one more, and I'm rooting for you, and I hope you always stay clean.
You are one of, I love watching your videos and your lives because you helped me to want to be a better person.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm just out here trying to make a difference.
And you are making a big difference. And anytime you would like me to tell my testimony, please, but I will tell it anytime.
No, and like I said, everything that you went through, I am extremely sorry that you had to deal with that. I hope eventually, I seriously do, that you do find the courage to find someone that loves you for you and will treat you the way that you deserve, and not have to worry about walking on eggshells.
To the point where I didn't feel good about my looks or anything. So I was like, nobody's going to want to be with me. I'm not pretty enough. And I know that's not the right way to look at it, but he downgraded me so much, I began to believe it.
Oh.
And I'm still trying to overcome that.
Well, here's one thing that you need to know is that you're beautiful no matter what. And no matter what anyone ever tells you, you always need to have the confidence to tell yourself, I am beautiful and I am capable of love, and I will have that love that I long for. And I'm telling you, I'm rooting for you. Oh. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And who is calling?
Eliana.
Oh, Eliana. Okay, Eliana. Alrighty. Yeah, that was a good talk that I just had. A really good one. Okay, Eliana, we are talking about narcissistic relationships and how we overcome those and moving on to new ones.
Yes.
Let's hear your story.
So I think a lot of the important part is the moving on to new ones. Or the how you move on to new ones after experiencing something like that. For me personally, I am currently married. I met my husband when I was almost 13. And we went through a lot at a very young age. At 16, I started dating someone else. And he was very narcissistic. And it was a lot. It was a lot at a young age. I'm currently 24. Actually, today's my 24th birthday.
There you go. Happy birthday.
And thank you. And yeah, it was a lot. And then when I decided to marry my husband, I was 18 and pregnant. And I had a late term miscarriage 3 days before our wedding.
Oh my gosh.
So we
Sorry.
continued on with the wedding, and it was rough because it's a lot to go through at 18, and he was 20, and it really broke us down really early in our marriage, and he ended up leaving through grief and anger and a lot of other things, and I ended up going back to this man who I dated when I was 15, and it was worse this time time around, and this time around I was an adult, and I had a lot of things from family members, people who could have, helped me if I had been open with what was going on. And there was just a lot going on there. There was a lot of abuse, like mentally and physically, and it definitely put a bad view on, after all I just threw a bad view on just relationships in general. And it was very hard to trust, not only, people relationship-wise, as far as like romantic relationships, but family relationships, friend relationships. It was very hard to trust anybody once you experience that. And I find a lot of people who go through that, people I'm friends with, people, acquaintances, they trust less. And that's the hard part. I feel like going through it is hard, but the aftermath of what it has taken from you is the hardest part.
So my question is to you, whenever you were in this type of relationship, did you ever just feel like you were always apologizing?
Yes, all the time.
Like you just always thought, you always thought it was your fault?
Yes, those things that upset him or made him upset. Things that I can see now that were normal relationship things or like normal acts that angered him, I would find myself, that was my fault. I shouldn't have done that. But in reality, those were such normal things.
Yeah. See, I can't imagine going through that to that extent. Because here's my thing. Like in a relationship, you want to come home and talk about your day and stuff. And from what I've gathered in a lot of the people's relationships that I've looked into, when they are with a narcissist is going to talk about himself all the time. All the time, and constantly wants just validation and just wants to feel inferior the whole entire time.
I find a lot of the time when it comes to myself, like things that I found out about myself after the fact, things that I wanted to do even at such a young age, I put on the back burner so that he could do what he wanted to do. And that was career-wise and socially-wise. I was basically isolated off from family members because that's what he wanted.
Yeah. Oh man. See, that's one thing that I never understood is, and you could tell me, were you in love with him, or was it the fact that that's all you knew?
I think at the time that I thought I was in love with him. Like I said, I had dated my current husband, and I will circle back to that, before I dated this man. And I was a baby. 12 to 15, that is a baby.
It is.
When my husband left, I was grieved, I was angry, just out of being young. He had just turned 20, and not understanding how to properly, fix what was broken, what had been broken by loss, by, my decision in going back to a person who didn't treat me right. It caused a lot more hurt, a lot more, trauma to me, that I could have, personally, if I wouldn't have made that choice, I wouldn't have gone through as much in my life as I did. But a lot, I've already forgotten her name. Your first caller.
Priscilla.
Priscilla, yes. A lot like her, I just found myself, at a point where it was like, I have to do something. I feel like there's nothing here. I'm at rock bottom. I've been left by one man and the other one's abusive. And it felt very lonely. And I felt like, I'll never love again. No one will ever love me again. I was also not having good relationships with family members at that time. And I truly felt like the Lord told me, this is going to work out. It seems bad And he called me and he said, this isn't what I want anymore, you know. He was like, I'm so sorry for leaving. But at that point, when you go from being let to going into a narcissistic relationship, it's like, okay, is this a lie or is it truth? It's almost hard for someone in that situation to dig out the lies from the truth, because everything seems like a lie.
Yeah.
Anybody who says they want you or they love you or they'll be there for you, it just seems like a lie. So when he said that, it was very hard to get back to that place. I mean, you were legally married, and it was still very hard to get back to that place. It took a lot of therapy, it took a lot of music, and it took a lot of patience. And we have 2 beautiful kids today.
That's
and,
awesome. Congratulations.
Nothing's perfect, you know, nobody is.
Yeah.
And the therapy continues, probably until I'm 34, but that's okay. I feel like a lot of people don't get back to where I am today, and they're still hurt, and there's still trauma, and there's still things that I walk through and I go through separately and as a wife and as a mother because of what I went through. But I think, much like Priscilla again, I like to advocate for women in these situations, and be a light for them and be someone that they can talk to, because it's not easy going out of that. Like I said, going through it, it's just not the hardest part. The aftermath of the breakdown and how you feel sometimes unworthy and like trash is the hardest part of everything.
So it's the recovery side of it.
It almost is. It's almost like being compared to a drug. It's like you had this drug and you were addicted to this drug and you stayed because you like this drug. But it's the getting clean part. It's the being clean. It's the, you know, trying your best not to go back, because sometimes we want to go back and we want to go back and we want to go back. But we need to push forward and get out of that and realize that there are people around us who don't want to see us go through that, and there are people around us who will help us out. Even if you have no family,
Amen.
There are places that you can go. There are churches that you can end up on their doorstep, you know.
Yeah. I think the call was dropped. Oh, I wish I could hear the rest of that. Yeah. Sorry. It was definitely dropped. Hold on. I feel bad. Eliana, if you're still here, I have no idea why the call was dropped. We lost her. I should be... If you're still in here. Yes. I am unsure to why that call dropped.
It's okay. It said call dropped on it.
Yeah, it says unstable network. That's why. It's all over the place. There's a winter storm outside my house, so...
Yes, I think there's one coming from here, too. I'm in Florida.
Oh, yeah. I'm up in Idaho, and it is, we've got ice and snow, so hopefully they cancel school tomorrow, so the kids don't have to go.
Unfortunately, my child is going to school because we don't get snow here.
Oh, God. Oh, but I feel bad that it cut you off.
No, it's perfectly okay. I just think that, I want to know that if you're in that position, there's always someone that, you know, that will help. Whether that's a pastor or a teacher or a friend, a family member, it doesn't matter. There are people who will help you get out of that situation. I never want anyone to feel alone. I mean, my TikTok's private, but I pretty much accept anyone unless they're crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So,
You never know about those crazy ones.
Yeah. I mean, there's the creepers, for sure, but even personally, just reaching out to me or someone who's been through it, someone that helps you and guides you through getting out, is really important. My niece actually just, went through the same situation. She got a divorce and she got out, and helping her out of that, helping her realize, this really bad, was very, I don't know, that's a good word for it. It was just very uplifting, I guess, to know that I helped someone else. And it really opened the door to be there for a lot of people. We actually have a women's shelter here in my town, and it is private. It's for abuse victims, and I have been volunteering there more recently because of that domestic violence victims. And it's very door-opening, mind-opening, eye-opening to see these women who went through even so much more than I did, get out and live lives with them or them and their children. And I think it's very important for people like that to have help and to have resources. And, if anyone in this chat or, listening to this podcast has issues, I want you to feel free.
Yeah, guys, if you are dealing with that, you definitely need to seek help. You need to talk to someone. Don't keep it all bottled up inside, because eventually it all explodes, and that is a tough burden to carry on your shoulders. Seriously, just know that there is power in prayer. You can always pray about it, but you do not be afraid to share your wisdom to someone else that's going through it. I think in just hearing these different conversations, it didn't sound like yours. He didn't put his hands on you. And Priscilla's did, but I mean, I just could not imagine. I know that there's people out there in the world that just don't make it out of these relationships, and my hat goes off to them, because the people that do make it out, I'm so proud of you, because that is a fight that a lot of people wishes they could win. So I just want to say thank you all for everyone in here if you're dealing with that. Eliana, thank you so much for your conversation, and I want to say congratulations to you and being married and your kids and coming through that. And I mean, y'all were just true warriors, and I cannot thank y'all enough for the fight that y'all have put forth in y'all's life, and it's just amazing. And like I said, thank you, and I wish y'all nothing but the best. Seriously. I just want to say that was truly amazing hearing those people's stories, and I wish them nothing but the best. Guys, if you're one of those people that are dealing with being in those relationships, or maybe you're just you're trying to figure it out, or maybe you're just trying to jump into another relationship and truly just go along the waves and just feel it out, and just remember, talk to your new partner about that kind of stuff. I know, like, just from hearing things that we heard tonight, you're going to be more standing off whenever you're talking to someone new, and your guard's going to be up. But just remember this, guys, if you talk about things to people and what you're going through, it will help so much, and I promise you're going to feel a lot better about it. But do me a favor, guys, do your best, every day, no matter what it is. Just make sure that you're just doing whatever it takes to make sure that your life is took care of, and that you are the prize. And that's what you have to remember. Know your worth. Remember that, guys. Don't be in a relationship where you're degraded every day and people put their hands on you. Know your worth. Say to yourself right now, say, you know what? I'm not afraid to sit at this table alone. Yeah, I want you here, but I don't need you here, because you don't need anybody except for yourself, guys. Thank you for another amazing episode of Smile Through the BS, guys. Last but not least, I want to say, go out of your way to make someone else's day better. You truly never know what anyone in this world is dealing with. Be the hand that helps them up, not the hand that pushes them down. And whether you're paying it forward in a drive-thru, or you're holding the door for someone, or just simply giving them words of affirmation, just telling someone, hey, I love your smile, or you know what, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm here. Because that is what's going to make the world a different place, guys. And I promise you, no matter what you want to do in this life, as long as you put your heart and your mind to it, you can overcome anything and achieve whatever it is that you're longing for. Guys, do me a favor, if you'd like to see more, make sure you sub to this YouTube channel, and please leave comments. I'd love to read them. And guys, thank you for another wonderful episode. See you later.
To tell the truth, I knew my heart just wasn't right.